This is Jade Rossi, a model and actress. And this is Jade Rossi. And this. And this. She's a beautiful woman. BioWare, the game developer behind mega franchises Mass Effect and Dragon Age, have paid her to use her likeness as one of the protagonists in their new game Mass Effect Andromeda. This is their version of Jade Rossi. So what happened? Did they just screw it up? Well, if you look at the male protagonist, he looks to be a dead ringer for the guy they modeled him after, Stephen Brewis. Let's take a look at what BioWare is doing, and more importantly, why, in this game objective feature video.
I can't believe I just did that! How can I live with myself?
Here is Liara, the Asari companion from the original Mass Effect. And here's Peebee, the Asari companion from Mass Effect Andromeda. Here's Miranda, a companion from Mass Effect 2. And here's Cora, a companion from Mass Effect Andromeda. Are you seeing a pattern? Let's look at BioWare's last game, Dragon Age Inquisition. Here's Cassandra from Dragon Age 2 in 2011.
Seeker of the Chantry.
And this is Cassandra from Dragon Age Inquisition, released in 2014. And here is Sarah, the lesbian companion, also from Dragon Age Inquisition. It appears that BioWare is making their female characters intentionally unattractive. This is a pattern that has now emerged in BioWare's last two games, and it appears they are specifically designing female characters to appeal to the modern notion of social justice progressiveness rather than aesthetics. This is a stark contrast with BioWare of the past, which has used sex and titillation to allure players.
Now we meet face to face. You see my true form, and stand in my domain. It is here I am most powerful, and yet I have no wish to engage your power.
Whereas the BioWare of the present appears to be making characters less attractive, the BioWare of not too long ago did the opposite. This is Isabella from Dragon Age Origins, and when they made her into a full-fledged companion in Dragon Age 2, this is what they changed her into.
I've been here for hours. Ada hasn't shown.
And this appears to be a recent change by BioWare, starting with Dragon Age Inquisition. If we take a look at the Dragon Age series, we can see the change happening. In the first game, Dragon Age Origins, you can see the revealing two-piece armor that wouldn't offer much real protection in a fight. In Dragon Age 2, you see less of that, but there's still revealing armor, such as that on Talus, the DLC character played by Felicia Day. Then in Dragon Age Inquisition, the third game, your companion Iron Bull actually makes fun of so-called boob armor, or protective plate, which emphasizes the breast.
Some good armor.
Are you referring to me?
Some high-ranking women wear ornamental crap with tits hammered into it. One good shot, and all that cleavage gets knocked right into the sternum. Real messy. Good on you for going practical.
I aim to please.
Leave something to the imagination, too.
You know, like the kind that female shepherd wore. So what's going on here? Why the change? Well, it appears to me that BioWare is making a concerted effort to adhere to the feminist theory of the male gaze.
The term male gaze was coined in 1975 by feminist film critic Laura Mulvey and refers to the tendency for the visual arts to assume and be structured around a presumed masculine viewer, or in this case, player.
Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes vs. Women in Video Games video series, which offers women's studies feminist critique of video games, began appearing in 2011, the same year as Dragon Age 2. Here she is criticizing the male gaze, which is apparently a problem when women are dressed sexy, but men without shirts appears to be okay.
Eradicating the male gaze is not as simple as introducing an inverse female gaze that sexualizes men either. Not just because equal opportunity sexual objectification isn't the answer, but also because it isn't actually equal. One reinforces pre-existing oppressive ideas about women that are real and damaging to women in their everyday lives. The other doesn't reinforce anything.
And here she is criticizing the Mass Effect ad campaign, which featured the male Shepard too heavily, in her view.
However, if we take a step back from the game experience itself and look at the marketing campaigns for the trilogy, we see that the female variant of Shepard is practically non-existent. In mainstream advertising of the franchise, the male commander is used almost exclusively.
Coincidentally, or perhaps not, for Mass Effect Andromeda, the first protagonist shown was the woman, known as Ryder. BioWare then alternated between male and female protagonists in their teasers and trailers. Here's what BioWare had to say about that. When we debuted Male Shepherd back in 2006, 10 years ago, it was a time when we drew inspiration from traditional entertainment marketing, BioWare boss Aaron Flynn told Eurogamer. So we need an iconic main character. We need an iconic everything else. But I think the whole industry, us included, have moved beyond that. Our games let you choose your main character. I think everyone gets that nowadays. You don't need to see a character to identify with, in the same way you might on a movie poster. People want to create their own characters, customize them, and we're embracing that. Sarkeesian frequently uses BioWare games in her criticism, and they seem to be receptive to it. David Gaider is a former writer at BioWare who was largely responsible for the Dragon Age series. In 2015, he appeared at a panel at Games for Change with freelance game dev Kate Welch. In the panel, they talk about Sarkeesian. Games are growing more diverse over time, and Welch attributed that change to modern game criticism, like Anita Sarkeesian's Tropes vs. Women in Video Games series of videos. Gaider agreed, calling feedback like that something we should keep in mind, while noting we are in no danger of boobs going extinct in games. Sarkeesian, said Gaider, is simply arguing against developers making games unthinkingly, and he supports that idea. Maybe we should think about what our games say to women, to a broader audience. What someone who isn't part of a traditional demographic is going to think of our games, said Gaider. What does our game encourage male players to think about women? It's important to note here that Sarkeesian is not out there ruining video games. She does get a lot of crap, including actual death threats, for offering her Women's Studies 101 level criticism of games, and that is so wrong. While it is clear that her criticism has had an effect on the gaming landscape, it's BioWare making the decisions here, not Sarkeesian. The thing is, BioWare's appeal to women appears to be working, at least somewhat. Quantic Foundry, a market research company that covers the video game industry, reports that the number of women that play BioWare games is about double the industry average. They've reported that 29% of Star Wars The Old Republic players are female, where the industry average is 16%, and a whopping 48% of Dragon Age Inquisition players are female. The question now becomes, at what point does the appeal to the female gamer come at the expense of the male gamer? Will BioWare's progressive politics cost it money? The market will be the ultimate judge on whether we see more of this in the future. The funny thing is, their marketing department appears to understand the issue. The face of the protagonist is a big thing. It's what you put on the box art of the game. It's why you pay a model to use his or her likeness. It's why you put models on the covers of magazines. For the original Mass Effect, they used model Mark Vanderloo for the male shepherd. Here's Mass Effect 1's box art. Here's Mass Effect 2. Here's Mass Effect 3. And this is Mass Effect Andromeda. Thanks for watching. As always, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, and maybe subscribe to our channel. If you don't like this video, give us a thumbs down, and let us know why. If you want us to continue making content like this, please consider donating to our Patreon, or supporting us through the numerous non-financial ways which you can find here on our support page. This has been Brad Glasgow with Game Objective. We'll see you next time.